So some people have come to me complaining that they feel sometimes with me there's a little bait and switch going on, because at the end of one episode I'll say we are going to do something for the next, and then circumstances change, and it's happened quite a bit. Well, I promised you wolves, so we're going to bring you wolves, even though we've got more interesting stuff on the horizon. And welcome back, everyone, to episode number 89 of Bottom to the Top. I'm Mr. Cellophane. How are you? Wolves, the first of our final 10 matches in the Premier League. It's going to be on the road at Molineux. That one is coming up. I promised you it. We're bringing it to you. Then we have the first leg of our UEFA Champions League round of 16 matchup against who we do not yet know, and a quarterfinal matchup in the FA Cup. We're going to bring you that and the second leg of the Champions League round of 16 action in tomorrow's episode to end the week. And that is a promise I will definitely keep. How have we done since we last saw each other? Not too shabby. In fact, our last loss was that 4-0 at the Camp Nou against Barcelona in the 7th of 8 matches in the league phase of the Champions League. Since then, it has been smooth sailing. 2-0 at home against Leeds. 2-0 against Burton in the replay of the 4th round of the FA Cup. 4-0 at home against Spurs, a team that had beaten us not once, but twice, including knocking us out of the Carabao Cup earlier this year. Then we went on the road. It was a rainy night in Nottingham. 1-1 was your score. We pulled out a draw on the road before returning home against Brighton with a 1-0 victory, a feat that we repeated. Even though we dominated the match, we just only scored one time at home in the 5th round of the FA Cup against our old buddies in Norwich City. So in the Premier League, that puts us in 2nd place on the table, 58 points after 28 matches, 17 wins, 7 draws, 4 losses, which is tied with Wolves and City for the lowest in the Premier League this season. Also a plus 30 goal difference. City still running away with everything. They actually have a game in hand on us and a 7-point lead in the league. We have managed to separate ourselves a little bit from Newcastle and a lot more from the other teams. 7 points ahead of Arsenal in 4th and Man U in 5th. 10 points over Liverpool in 6th, and a 12-point cushion in the European places over Wolves, which we are hoping to expand today. The transfer window obviously slammed shut a little over 3.5 weeks ago. Marco Morales did make it official. He signed with Wolfsburg. He is on loan for the remainder of the season. There is a clause with an optional purchase worth 107 million euros. Considering we paid 8.5 million for him, that should be a good bit of business for a player that, while he was very talented on the pitch, his troubles off the pitch were just too much for us to bear any longer. This one, though, was a bit of a surprise. Omari Kellyman, we got a late transfer deadline day offer for him, where we didn't think that we were going to move him necessarily. We could have used his depth up front. He's very versatile, could play any of the major forward positions. But the 27-year-old, we got a 45 million euro offer from RB Salzburg and figured for a backup, making 125,000 a week. That was not getting the playing time we wish he could have gotten, because Eftitos Shokos was coming in off of the bench. Afonso Matinho was coming in off of the bench. Emmanuel Omega, we couldn't find a buyer for him, so he was coming off of the bench, and we figured Kellyman was our 4th or 5th option at that point. So getting 45 million for him seemed like a good bit of business, and we ended up pulling the trigger. But that was not all. We did finalize the deal for Racine Sissoko. Brought him in 99 million this year, 135 million down the road. His value has already doubled. He is now worth about 250 million euros. We're paying 180,000 a week for the 24-year-old, 32 international caps, 6 goals for his country. He's made 4 appearances in the Premier League with us, has not yet scored. However, he has been absolutely amazing on the defense. His passing ability has begun to shine through, even though that's really not his strength. He will start scoring those goals soon, I promise. But Racine Sissoko has slotted in very nicely next to Khaled Gnaim. But that's not all. We went out to grab a little bit of youth. We wanted to add a potential depth player in the midfield and one that was homegrown in England. We turned to 18-year-old Irish-English dual national John Kavanagh. He's capped 16 times at the U21 level, has not scored a goal. Little bit more defensively minded. We love his work rate and his teamwork ability. He doesn't really have the talent to be a Premier League player right now. Cost us just under 11 million. He had a release clause. We brought him in to bolster our numbers for continental competitions moving forward. Maybe he will also have some value on the pitch a little bit later on. And if you thought we were done there, we were not. We wanted to get some midfield help for now, especially with Marco Morales going out. Hugo Larsson, the 28-year-old Swedish international, 8 goals for Sweden in 76 appearances. He has been very good for us, has made 3 starts in the Premier League, picked up 2 assists already in Fulham colors. Hugo Larsson has slotted in. He is a very, very good, very consistent player and resolute personality. The media deem him world class, and so far he has proven that on the pitch. Little expensive, 65 million euros this season, 165,000 per week, but we did get him on a squad player status, which meant that we didn't have to pay him probably as much as we really should have. And if we want to rotate in guys like Kim Young-suk, who is coming back from an injury, we can absolutely do that without making Larsson upset. And would you believe that even after all of that, we are not breaking the bank? Our wage budget is 2.8 million. We are spending about 2.75. We still have 70 million euros in the transfer budget. Now, our bank balance, that is a bit of a different story, but we do have more matches coming up in the Champions League. This year, we are continuing to make our way through the FA Cup, a tournament we won last year, so hopefully we will be able to replenish those coffers sooner rather than later. And just when I thought we were done with the preamble and we were going to get to the actual football, we do have the round of 16 draw for the Champions League. 8 matches to be determined. Rennes and Milan are going to be taking each other on in match number 1. Match 2 set to be drawn. Athletico de Madrid in the group stage. Are we going to compete? Yes, we are. We are going to be matched up against Athletico one more time. Better them than Barcelona, I say. And we'll get through the rest of the draw. Valencia is going to match up against Bayer Leverkusen. Real Madrid is playing Manchester City. Man United over PSV. Wolfsburg has Liverpool. RB Leipzig will be taking on Barcelona. And it will be Juve and Napoli to round out the round of 16. A lot of formidable teams remaining in this competition. Hopefully a few of them are going to whittle each other out by the time we get past Atleti and make it into the Elite 8 and the quarterfinals of the Champions League. And then there's the small matter of the quarterfinal draw for the Emirates FA Cup. So let's see who we're going to take on. Nottingham Forest will match up against Ipswich. It could be Man U or Bournemouth, Bolton, Burnley, Southampton, West Ham. Actually, I am not afraid of any of the teams remaining in this draw, with maybe the exception of Manchester United. They have given us trouble in the past, and that's probably who we're going to take on. It's either Man U or Bournemouth. Still to be determined. West Ham will match up with Burnley. It's going to be Bolton and Southampton. as the final matchup. So we are in the final 8 of the FA Cup. Will it be Man U? Will it be Bournemouth? Maybe we'll find out before we play Wolves. Who knows? All right, we're finally getting to the football. It is Wolves versus Fulham at Molineux, and we are going to rotate the squad quite a little bit because we have our first leg against Atleti coming up in just 3 days. Nicolas Shavlina is returning in the goal, and remember, he was out for quite a while with an injury, so Kim Seon-il was making most of the starts, although Shavlina did return for that 1-0 victory in the FA Cup against Norwich. It's going to be Harvey Vale, Sissoko, Marvin Akahomen, and Ivan Fresneda as our back four. Diaby at the base of the midfield behind Tom Burford, and Kim Young-suk making his first start after returning from his injury. Toshimitsu Endo and Afonso Moutinho on the wings, with Nikolai Rumyantsev in the middle at the number 9. We are in top form, and we hope to keep it that way as we have massive matches on the horizon against Athletico de Madrid and either Man United or Bournemouth in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. We would love to win our second consecutive piece of hardware here at Fulham. And we've got to get through Wolves before we can worry about any of that. No score, no shots through the first 18, 19 minutes of this match. In fact, the only activity on the score sheet is Callum Doyle picking up a yellow card for Wolves. Most of the run of play has gone our way, 60% possession through the first 30 minutes. And the only shot on goal belonging to Fulham Football Club. Now, this is the way that we normally play our match. We are heavy in possession. We do take chances. We are not getting a ton of them. And Benjamin Kramashi with the first shot on goal for Wolves of the match off of a set piece is going to be able to deliver the goal. Namaso sent it forward. Moutinho, it looked like, and not João Gomez, knocked it down. And Kramashi able to put it home. So 1-0 Wolves. Now, to say that we have not gone down first, it would be an understatement. Obviously, there have been a number of times recently where we have done a very good job of keeping clean sheets. Not a very good start in this match, though, for Fulham. Only 4 shots in total. 1 goal, and that came for Wolves. And Namaso with another opportunity. This with a free kick just outside of the zone. It's going to clatter off of the crossbar. Did Shavlina get a touch on it? I believe he did, to redirect that over. Doyle to take the corner kick in swinger. Knocked away by Harvey Vale, but kept alive by Wolves. Doyle with it. Working past Rumyantsev to his left. Moutinho will pick it off, but a heavy touch will be reclaimed by Doyle. Now, a loss here is obviously not the end of the world. We still on 29 matches, along with Newcastle, would remain 1 point ahead of the Magpies. However, we do want to create that separation. We want to guarantee ourselves Champions League football for next year. And right now, it really ain't looking that great against Wolves, and that is highly disturbing. Federico Guerrero is going to come in. Hugo Larsson will replace Tom Burford, and Shavlina is very frustrated, and I cannot blame him. Sissoko will make way for Clegg Ghanayem, who we left off just to give him a little bit of a rest, but we find ourselves down and in need of a score, so we are going to demand more from our team. 17 minutes remaining in this match, and Wolves once again in control. Krasmashi playing it up the sideline. Duncan trying to get past his man into the middle. Denied. Akahomen will clear successfully, but unfortunately Fulham unable to get the counterattack going. Guerrero now with 12 minutes to go. We are in the 78th minute. Kim Young-suk moves it forward to Moutinho, switches it to the near side. Guerrero up the sideline, into the middle. Larsson, he's got it. Larsson in the box, squares it. Rumyantsev, and Rumyantsev goes top bins for his 13th goal of the year. The Russian has been an absolute revelation for us, finding open spaces, putting the ball in the back of the net, and he shows here why he is our top scorer. Can we get another one before full time is blown? I sure hope so, because coming out of Molineux with 3 points would be extra special. I mean, it's always good to win on the road. To do so against the team that is knocking on the door and hoping to make their way into European competition would be even better. A couple of changes late on to get some fresh legs as we make one final push as 5 minutes are added on, but it is not going to be enough. I think, and the reason I said I think is 5 minutes were added on, but we played nearly 8 additional minutes. 7-6, the shots in favor of Wolves. We dominated possession. However, in fact, most categories went our way, and we ended up pulling out a draw, 1-1. Nikolai Rumyantsev with his 13th, saving the day. The draw against Wolves did make it 11 straight for Fulham without a loss in the Premier League, but we're putting the league behind us. We are focusing solely on Europe. We are in the round of 16 of the UEFA Champions League in Madrid, taking on Atleti, and here is the squad that is going to do it. Nikola Shavlina will be in goal, a back four of Guest, Sissoko, Gnayem, and Couchman. Jones, Larson, and Burford in the midfield with Guerrero and Sokos on the wings. Our striker today, Nikolai Rumyantsev. Obviously, a couple of changes in the lineup for Fulham versus the team that beat Atleti handily at Craven Cottage in the league phase. The Spanish side currently sitting 5th in La Liga, looking for a little bit of revenge at home. It's the first leg of the round of 16 of the Champions League, and we are underway in Madrid. 67,894 on hand, and Federico Guerrero already maybe picking up a slight knock, but we are going to keep him in the match. Couchman carrying it forward into the middle. Rumyantsev with it, holding it up, trying to get it to Jones. Van Persie knocks it away, but Larson will play it back to safety, and Gnayem. Khaled Gnayem up for Jones. He's got Rumyantsev up the middle. Rumyantsev has a couple of men maybe looking to make a run, but instead Rumyantsev will take it himself from 20 yards out, and he is so good from that position. He puts Fulham ahead 1-0 here in the 13th minute. Gnayem with the pass to Jones. Fed it for Rumyantsev. Could have split the defense. In fact, he did. They kind of parted the Red Sea, so to speak. The red and white striped sea, that is. And Rumyantsev with a great look on goal to put us ahead. But Atleti trying to take it forward. Che with it. Feeds Van Persie. Van Persie in, and he will beat Shavlina. Shaquille Van Persie with his 11th goal on the season. And Madrid hits back, and they hit back quickly. 2 minutes after we score, Atleti able to equalize. Larson unable to make a defensive play. Same thing for Couchman. Van Persie is in, and Shavlina, 1-on-1, loses that battle. First shot of the game for Atleti, and they're looking for more. Chet in the middle. Samuel Lino with a shot, and he's going to rocket that out wide. Did that catch the leg of a Fulham defender? It looks like it did. Chet with the corner kick, sending it in near post. Guest looking to clear. Burford helping it along, and Rumyantsev is going to chase that one down. Bookings already for Sokos, Couchman, and now Alex Guest. So a little bit of yellow card foul trouble for this Fulham side. 3-3. The shots are even. The score itself is even as well, and Sokos is out with an injury, which means Afonso Moutinho is going to have to be brought in after 33 minutes in this match. Hopefully Moutinho can play as well as he had. He has been a pretty good substitute option for us on the bench this year. Had what, in my view, is the goal of the year earlier, one he took from his own end, dribbled it all the way down, and beat the goalkeeper to give us a victory. Zito Luvumbo also out injured for Atleti. 1-1 is your score after 45 minutes. We have dominated possession. We're going to pump up the team. I know that in Football Manager, the best way to manage morale sometimes is actually to get down on the players. We are not going to do that here at the half. the round of 16. If we can come out of Spain with a win or a draw, I think we have an excellent chance of taking the tie in the end when we return to Craven Cottage next week. Couchman to throw it in. We've played 65 minutes. Ganayam Jones, Couchman up for Rumyantsev. He'll feed it through. Matinho is in. He's got it in the box. He's going to rocket a shot in from just inside the 18, and that is going to sail well high and miss everything. We do have some tired legs on the pitch. We're going to look to make some changes as Tom Burford carries it forward, feeds it to Guerrero to his left, pushing it deeper into the box, looking for Rumyantsev. It'll be cleared. Van Persie heading it away. Guest playing it ahead for Guerrero once again. He's got Tom Burford. Burford's going to rocket it off of the crossbar. It's going to stay out, and Thiago Henrique will play it up for Lino and get that clear. Unfortunate and unlucky. Emmanuel Omega is coming in. Tom Burford will make way for Kim Young-suk and Federico Guerrero for Toshimitsu Endo as we change up our attack in its entirety. The last 3 shots of the match have gone Fulham's way. Van Persie will just head it in, and it will be easily scooped up by Shavlina. We've played just over 76 minutes. He's going to roll it to his left. Sissoko finds Guest along the near side. Plenty of space in front of him. Guest up for Omega, moving it to his left. He's got Toshimitsu Endo. Endo playing for Young-suk. Back up the sideline for Guest. In the middle, Omega heading it on and just over. Aguirre Zabala didn't have to make the save. Free kick for Atleti, and Fulham turning it on in the last 15-20 minutes of this match. Rennes taking a 2-1 lead over Milan. Man U with a 5-2 lead over PSG at home. Wolfsburg and Liverpool playing to a 2-2 tie. 4 minutes to be added on at the end. Sissoko to get things started. We've played 92. Kim Young-suk dropping it for Jones, playing it for Ganayam. Finds Couchman ahead for Matinho. Matinho moving it wide and down the sideline. In for Omega. Heavy touch, but he keeps control of it. Couchman, Larson, Matinho in the box. Matinho shoots, and Matinho scores. That's what happens when we say great things about Afonso Matinho and his ability coming in off of the bench. All he does is score goals off of the substitute bench, provided that it is upheld, which it will not be. They're going to say he was offside. And I don't know. There was a lean. They did not count the lean. So the goal is going to be wiped off the board, and we are going to hit full time. 8-1, your shots in that second half in favor of Fulham. And in the end, unable to get that go-ahead goal. But we're heading back home, tied at 1, the second leg coming up tomorrow. Unfortunately, yellow cards are going to keep Couchman and Tom Burford out of the second leg of this round of 16 matchup in the Champions League. We return to Craven Cottage to take on Atleti and try to move on to the final 8 of the Champions League. We also have our 5th round matchup in the FA Cup. Will it be Manchester United? Will it be Bournemouth? That is still to be determined. But both of those matches are coming up tomorrow. Make sure you hit that like button. I really appreciate it. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please do so now. And I will see you for the Friday edition of Bottom to the Top. It's episode number 90, and it will be coming your way tomorrow. I hope to see you then. Until then, bye-bye.